What is the ego? Think of the ego as an extension of the source from which it appears from, comes out of. The source of the ego is the ego's resting place. The ego is an extension of that wholeness that we also call pure consciousness. You see, the ego, as an extension of the source, its job is to do things that the source cannot do. Because the source is always whole. It's so whole, it allows for this appearance of an ego to flourish. Because everything is actually happening by itself. As I said in my video that the world is a simulation, or reality is a simulation. There is no effort in anything. If you really look, there is no effort in the thoughts that arise in your mind. There's no effort in the words that you say, and in the mistakes that you say, and in the effort that you take. There's no effort to take effort. There's no effort to not be able to take effort. Please watch that video to understand more of what I mean. Every experience happens exactly as it's supposed to happen. For example, if you burn yourself, you're going to burn yourself. You won't burn yourself and then feel water. You won't burn yourself and then teleport to another country. Everything happens as it's supposed to happen. Everything makes sense. But also, there is actually no effort going on. It's just there's a belief of effort from this extended version of the source that we call the ego. Because the ego, being an extended version of its source, can only operate with the sense of duality, the sense of effort, the sense of doership, the sense of I, the sense of independence, the sense of individuality. It needs to. That's its job. Why? So that we can experience reality in a particular way. For example, hugging people, that wouldn't feel as good if you knew in your every fiber of your being that the person you are hugging is you. You need a sense, whether small degree or a large degree, that you are hugging another person. Because even if you say they are an aspect of yourself, they are still another person. So in that, you get the feeling of peace, of love. The opposite to that is, of course, being completely whole. Being completely whole, by definition, there were no parts. There is no other person to hug. There is no progression in life. There is no decline in life. There is no overcoming the down. There is no consciously talking to a camera. None of these experiences would exist if we existed as whole all the time. But because we exist as both the source, we can never not be the source. We are just an extension of the source as these personhoods. Because we, as that pure consciousness, brilliantly created, but not really created in a human sense, but created these egos so that we can experience otherness, duality, life, beauty. Yes, hate and the negative stuff too. But the thing is, we still go back to that source and we have the experience to try and overcome the negative too. I mean, we only experience good because we know bad at the end of the day. So we can't negate the bad too. So the ego is like a soldier of the pure source. The pure source is like heaven, and the ego is an angel. But the ego can also be a demon. I've spoken about this before in my video, What is an Angel? Notice how you see angelic behaviors in the world, but you also see demonic behaviors in the world, because the ego is the foot soldier of heaven, which is the pure source. Why do you think Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you? You don't have to be Christian, as you know I'm not, to understand spiritually what that really means. So yes, the ego is a necessary and unnecessary aspect of reality. It's necessary to experience otherness, to experience duality, to experience life, literally. At the same time, we will still exist as that pure consciousness without it, such as in deep sleep. But doesn't mean you're stuck in limbo, such as in deep sleep. You're not conscious that there is no mind as the identity. You are conscious as pure consciousness, but because pure consciousness has no parts, you don't experience a lack of anything or fear, because the pure consciousness is always whole. The source is always whole. That's why you cannot find pure consciousness in the world. You cannot find the source in the world. That's why, because we are the extension. We are living the extension of the source. This is what reality is. It's the extension of the source, the extension of heaven. We are the foot soldiers, we are the angels and the demons of heaven. And this is why understanding the ego, balancing the ego, understanding that you are not essentially it is very important to not become a demon. Because those thoughts will come, right? We all experience those thoughts that say, do this, do that, which are actually negative doings. Nobody is free of these thoughts. Because of course the ego isn't the one that chooses the thoughts anyway. The ego is the thought. So, and this is where the spiritual path comes into it. To use the label spiritual, but we are all the same. The ego is an extension of the source. Another way to put it, the ego is the foot soldier of heaven. Why do I say heaven? Because again, heaven in our paradigm, in our way of thinking, is the ultimate place. It's ultimate. It's heaven. There's no higher. It's peace. It's love. It's unity. It's having fun. It's no pain, no suffering. My friends, this is the same as the source of yourself, which is pure consciousness. There's no pain. There's no suffering. It's complete peace. It's complete happiness because there's peace. And I don't mean this in an emotional way, because you as that pure consciousness is distinct from emotions. It's not bound by emotions, such as in deep sleep. I will always use this analogy because it is experiential for all of us. In deep sleep, you don't need happiness or sadness. You don't need to feel anything. You don't need to be aware that you are in bed, because you are whole. So there are no parts to you. So as the ego retracts back into itself, because if I'm saying the ego is that which is an extension of the source, then of course it retracts back to the source. It retracts back when you are daydreaming. It retracts back when you are meditating well. It retracts back in sleep. And this is why, my friends, the ego reality, the dualistic reality, the waking world reality, even the dream world reality, this is why, my friends, they aren't consistent. They forever. They have to have a rest, because the extension of the source is limited. As soon as you overreach, as soon as you extend yourself, we see this in life with anything, it makes one more tired. It makes one less balanced. One needs to go back to the center, so to speak, to feel whole again, to be energized. So this is why I say the ego is like an extension of the source. And that source has no parts. It's what you truly are. If you like the video, friends, please like the video, comment and share, and have a wonderful day or evening. Much peace to you, my fellow expressions of consciousness.